All right. All right. All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. I hope you're having a fantastic day. My name is Bison, aka Bison Trades, over on Twitter. And we are here back with another RareFUD Radio, back-to-back days. We're just doing a Thanksgiving Day special today, in lieu of tomorrow's episode, just because it is Thanksgiving here in the States. And we're gonna be gone. We're gonna be out of pocket. So we figured we'd jump on today just for a fun show. This is going to be a fun show. This may contain a little bit of alpha, who knows? But we're just going to be talking about projections, predictions. We're going to be talking about, random stuff here and there, and it'll be fun. We will open up the room. I will go ahead and post a link so anybody who is listening and wants to join can do so at the last 20 minutes or so of this episode. So we are going to open up the floor. It should be fun. We'll see what happens with it. But in the meantime, we are joined, as always, by my wonderful co-host. Let's bring on Dorian for us. Dorian, how you doing today?
Hey, dog, every day is a holiday, and I guess in this case, it's a literal one. So I'm happy to be here for this special episode of Rare Bud. And seeing it's the seasons of giving, I'm probably just going to give a Cyber Samurai out to somebody at the end of the episode. Why not?
There you go. You heard it here first. This is a giveaway stream. I was not expecting it, but I love it. Let's go. We are big Cyber Samurai fans here on the stream. Dorian is obligated to be one, whether he likes it or not. And then, yeah, I'm a big Sam holder. So, love the stream. We did have Joe. It looks like he disappeared. We'll get him back in. It's a stream, man. You always going to expect Joe to be a wild card. There he is.
Exactly.
What's going on, Joe? How you doing, man?
Doing well, but we're almost home.
Okay.
Hey, let's go.
I might bring you off stage and then bring you back on when you get back home.
Yeah, because like Joe's like, even then, it's like there was a slight delay in that one, dog, and I was like, Joe must be out right now.
That's right. That's right. It's always fun. Joe, I appreciate you. We'll see you when you get back home, my man. And yeah, we'll get into it. We'll hold down the fort until you get back. All right. Okay. Okay. So today's just going to be a fun show. We are going to talk a little bit about a market summary here. Not much has changed since yesterday. We are looking at 207,000 Solana volume, still holding up pretty nicely. We are seeing some tapering back of volume on collections like Lily. Lily has seen a drawdown in its volume, which is to be expected post mint. We're only holding about 11K Solana volume over the past 24 hours, which is actually still pretty dang good. Still being in the top three, only surpassed by Utes and D-Gods, of course, because why wouldn't you right now? D-Gods has actually had a really nice pump up in price. It feels like something's coming over in Utes and D-Gods, man. We've seen a nice sustained amount of volume. The floor has crept up on Utes. It's closing in on 300 for D-Gods, and then Tubes continues to be the play. If you had held one of those things, like I probably should have, but I also made money on Lily with those funds, so I'm not really too upset about it. They're closing in on 200 for Tubes. So just looking over the numbers and everything like that, still looks good. I'm always weary going into a holiday. I know it is just in the US and not a global holiday like Christmas or Hanukkah or something like that, right? Where we all kind of celebrate it across the globe. It's curious to see, but we're still doing very well. Things look good. Dor, how do you feel about the market right now?
Dude, I'm feeling like, once again, like cautiously optimistic. We see these little signs of life in bear markets and don't know when it's going to end, but I enjoy the ride while I can. And like for Claynosaurus to be minting on Saturday, awkward day as we discussed yesterday you just mentioned, but hey, I think it's going to mint out, man. There seems a lot of momentum behind it. We have multiple Boogles talking about it. We have Adam 8 sending out a huge tweet about it. So yeah, man, I think they're going to mint out, and I'm don't have stake in it personally, but I'm excited to see what the price action is on it.
Yeah, I definitely think it will pump. It will have a nice pump off of it. Honestly, I really do think that Claynosaurus will rip to like 20 or so. I would say 20 would probably be my take profit point. And yeah, I do want exposure to the system. I'm gonna trade it just because I don't trust Solana folk with the short to medium term.
No,
They will
not at all.
almost always suppress the price. We're seeing it on Lily right now, where it's 8.74. Seeing it on Lotus Gang. You know, two things that just came out. Well, not Lotus Gang, but it was related to Lily. So it's one of those things that, look, people are gonna suppress the price, especially knowing that for Lily, that Claynosaurus is coming this weekend. I think a lot of people are preparing liquidity for Claynosaurus.
Yep.
And you know, this is an ecosystem where it's PvP right now. We're not onboarding a ton of people. We talked about it yesterday on that episode, and I do think that there's just going to be liquidity cycles going through some of these projects. Eventually, I will get back into Lily too. If we continue to see this downward pressure, though, I would expect it to go back towards mint price, in which case I will definitely be picking up. But I pretty much exited most of my position. Still have a few. I'm holding on to those for free, though. Some of them I need to get off the books just so I can make sure I break even on those. And yeah, that's kind of how I'm playing the market right now, Dor.
No, man. For me, I'm not really actively trading anything. It's just kind of like watch and see. I am, of course, looking out for those plays on secondary. As you said, Lily's one of them I do think is a solid long-term hold. So you've also mentioned whenever we see these mints come around, how we see a liquidity drain because of the PvP. So we'll see the price of Lily pull back some to gather liquidity for Claynosaurus. And then once Claynosaurus pops off, we'll probably see that liquidity rotating to pilots if it's coming soon. So it's not really good to hold on to anything. And I'm waiting to that second stage of seeing that pullback to get into some of these projects for the long run.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, the only play I see right now that looks like it's going to be, you know, relatively new, that's going to have some lasting power, even through these cycles is Utes. They just, they continue to hold a solid floor price. They continue to go up. They continue to dominate the volume rankings. And, you know, they have enough. Part of me thinks that Frank does a really good job. You know, I know we always want like this good news. Like Lily came out almost immediately saying, you know, like, hey, you're going to want to hold these for the 1-on-1 legendaries and there will be future utility. I think with Frank, the nice thing is, as much like criticism as we give him as an ecosystem for spacing all of this out, it's kind of good. It holds stuff up in the short to medium term. There is a little bit of swings, but not too many. And it's still doing pretty dang well, man. Like 112 soul floor price for Utes right now looks pretty tasty. So it's one of those things that, look, I mean, liquidity is going to cycle until some of these projects kind of establish themselves. I do think Lily will. Claynosaurus is interesting. I do want to talk about it. We brought it up earlier in No Fluff, where we were talking about IP rights and like, are you bullish or bearish? I want to get into that because that was something I kind of wanted to continue on about. I know Hex joined from Soul Gods talking about, you know, his vision for IP rights. And yeah, it's an interesting play, but as we continue to see this liquidity cycle, Dor, it's just one of those things that I'm looking at blue chips again. All I'm doing with this liquidity is I'm trying to stack my soul. And I'm making sure I hold my liquidity bag, and I'm also saving up for some of these blue chips that I can afford comfortably. I can afford pretty much all of them right now. It's just I don't want to blow my load right now when I can literally just save up for it comfortably, right?
Yeah, no, I feel you on that one, dog. I'm right there with you. Like it's hard to give me an argument for me to convince to like mint anything or like hold any of these new mints long term. Or I just like take that liquidity and buy a like a DGOT or a Ute or any of the other things above 100 soul floor. It just seems like a better risk reward by picking up like one of these newer collections because they're so new. Like these higher tier collections clearly have staying power, even in a bear market. So I'm more bullish on them because they have that name recognition, because they have that longevity within the ecosystem, and it makes me feel more comfortable picking up something 100 soul by picking up something newly minted for like 5, which I know it sounds crazy, but yeah, that's just my perspective on it.
Yeah. It's I see. It's not even that I don't trust these brands coming up. Like I do trust Lily, of course. I will get back into Lily with size too. I will go into Claynosaurus. I will trade it, and then I will get back in once, Solana does what Solana does, and that's the whole reason. Is
Yep.
I'm not going to be the one who goes against the trend
No.
of knowing that Solana is going to eventually undercut and floor these when volume starts to dry up. It just doesn't make any sense. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but I'm very curious. I do want to get back into these projects, and I do want to cycle liquidity and make sure I'm staying on top of it.
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you, dog. I'm right there with you. And like you were discussing the price action of youths, man, clearly something's coming. And like one of I love the point that Joe mentioned yesterday about how I think dust might be the play that no one's talking about, because you're going to need dust to be able to stake your youth. And when everybody figures that out, you're going to see a large spike in dust.
Yeah. I'm going through dust price right now. Let's see what it's at. We're at 41 cents. So holding pretty steady. It did rise back up to like 43, 44, and then is back down a little bit. This looks bullish to me, especially if Sol continues to hold. We got a nice little pump in Sol back up to 13 something.
Hey, let's go.
So, and it looks like it wants to cross resistance right now. We'll see if it reaches up for it, but it's nice to see Sol not down, closing in on single digits. As much as we all would love the idea of buying Sol at single digits, it would also be like, a detriment to the ecosystem and probably prolong our recovery time pretty dramatically. So I'm torn on it. I definitely want Sol at a single digit so I can buy it, but I hope it only lasts like 2 seconds flat, right? We'll see what happens, but I do want to talk about Claynosaurs. So Claynosaurs, everybody talks about it being an IP play, and I just want to talk about what that means. Like for a lot of people, everybody wants to talk about, oh yeah, this is the next brand or IP, and I'm just sitting here like, Salami Mommy had a really good point where he was just sitting there like, I'm bearish on that sort of play, like short to midterm. He's like, what do you get from it, from holding these collectibles that I care about the IP going up? Maybe it's the fact that you get more eyes on it and they want these NFTs, but if there's no value there, you can't do anything with them. It's not like a trading card game or anything like that. It's not you're also having to develop lore behind each one of these 10,000 pieces in order for anybody to actually care about the character itself. Is like, why do we keep saying IP plays are like going to be the future? I mean, I do think they are. It's just like we have to work in a system, and the collectible system we have going on right now doesn't make sense.
Dude, you hit the nail on the head, and I think this is the exact problem with Bubble Goose. I'm like, that's why I'm bullish on it long term, extremely bearish short and mid. Like, I do not see anything what happening with Bubble Goose in the near future. All the value will come from when there gets more eyes on it from Carl creating whatever he's doing. I'm not creating whatever. When the animated series gets released or launched and more eyes become on it. Same thing with Claynosaurs. In the short, I know there's like upgrades and things you can do, but at the same time, it's like, I've been in Solana long enough to know that ain't gonna hold people's attention.
No, it won't. And what's it called? Sorry, I was getting a call from my wife. Anyways, yeah. So what's gonna happen is, and what it made it sound like with Bubble Goose, and I would imagine Claynosaurs is gonna be kind of the same thing. Because animating 10,000 things to fit into a show or anything is going to be nearly impossible, especially for that high level. Like it would take so much time and resources, and you would maybe get like 5 seconds of show time if you're lucky. Really, what you're banking on is that you minted the NFT that will somehow be used in the show, that will gain fame or infamy, and that's the one that everybody wants. You're banking on that being basically a rare, but you don't know it yet. Like that's essentially what you're banking on. That's the only utility when it comes to these IP plays. And for me, that's just a long, drawn out, a delayed gratification play that we just know doesn't work out in Sol. And that's the one thing that I'm like, man, I want this stuff to work out, but like it's so tough. And I think we just need to reevaluate how we go with IP plays.
Yeah, man. Maybe not even us. Maybe it's just like the creators. Like, ETH is just more suited for these type of plays. I'm here on a Solana NFT show, but it seems like the time horizon for ETH holders are a lot longer than that for Solana. We see these in the things of Doodles. Doodles went, 3-4 months, not putting out a damn announcement, and they still were at an 8 ETH floor. So the people don't have a desire on ETH, and maybe these IP plays will perform better there, vice on Solana. And we can even see this with Adam migrating over to ETH because he knows that the holders over there won't be demanding utility and whatever. On Solana, utility means what do I get immediately for holding this? If it's that money, then I'm probably going to floor it. While on ETH, people believe utility expands a lot more than just the pure dollar value of that, and more so is focused on the community. And we see this in the floor price of the larger collections of over there, and the lack of tools or different utilities in the traditional sense as we have on Solana.
Yeah, exactly. And I hope that Solana goes away from that mentality to some extent. I just, even if we do, I just think we're building IP the wrong way, that it's going to drive value back to pretty much each and every holder versus like you hoping that your NFT gets featured on a show and then therefore becomes like the collectible to own, versus, let's say like 9,500 of a 10K collection doesn't get picked or featured in the show. What's their use? Are they going to just be background characters? Like nobody goes out and says like, man, I
want that background character.
Yeah, I wish I had prisoner number 7 from like Walking Dead or something like that. No, they all want like Michonne or anybody else from the show. And I like, it just feels like a lottery play to me that is going to take a while to actually develop, because you only know the show is going to be successful, right? And that's like, I don't know. It's just getting it to a sense that like, yes, I want them to be a successful IP and everything like that. But like, why do we care as consumers? Really, the benefit goes to the producers, because they get to circumvent going through the studios and everything like that, trying to get funding and the long, vigorous process there, where now they're just getting crowdfunded. They get to do whatever they want to because they got the money up front. And it's like, okay, well, why do we crowdfund this thing? Like, we want to be the change that we see in the world. No, we're just funding somebody else's dreams and, hopefully trying to get rich off of it with trading. And that's why I'm not staying in these positions very long.
No, dude,
it's just a quick
great analysis, man. Yeah, that's a great analysis. And like, it's, and once again, we can even bring this back to Bubble Goose too. It's just like, there is no guaranteed utility for what Bubble Goose is other than, connection to Carl. But maybe that is enough utility in and of itself, in my opinion, that especially if the show gains some type of notoriety, that might be cool, well worth it, and people will pay for that. But when you're talking about Claynosaurus, how far are they out from launching whatever they want to? It's like, it's a long time horizon. And when 1 week is like a year in Solana NFTs, it ain't gonna hold up, dog.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just this weird thing where people are now like standing for Claynosaurs, and don't get me wrong, it looks incredible. I'm glad we have talent coming over to Solana, but like, I don't know what value are they going to play into the ecosystem? I don't know. We'll find out. I think how I would go about building IP that would directly benefit holders is more so along the lines of additions that we see in one-on-one spaces. The reason being is because, and I made this analogy on the show too, is like Bugatti Group just came out with their luxury handbags and luggage and all that good stuff, sort of things. I guess they minted an NFT. They have license rights with other NFTs like Bored Apes and stuff, where you put your Bored Ape on a suitcase, and like, who else is going to buy that but the person who owns the Bored Ape, with your Bored Ape on it? The only thing that people are going to buy is like maybe a Bored Ape Yacht Club logo briefcase, and so it's kind of just an umbrella thing where, everybody cares, but nobody else cares about your collectible unless you own the collectible. And that's like, nobody's going to put that on a shirt. Nobody's going to do anything. You're not going to get rich off of it. And maybe IP solves that, where, you do mint something that is featured in a show, and that's crazy. But I think of it more in the sense of like Pokemon cards, right? Everybody has access to Charizard, or I guess a handful of people did, right? Like a first edition Charizard. So you have emotional attachment across a group of people. Within the video game, multiple people can capture Charizard, right? So you have additional emotional attachment, additional people who want to see it. Everybody sees Ash catch a Charizard in the show. And so people love the lore and background of Charizard and like, his little story in the show. And so that fuels people to want to buy these trading cards, the video game itself. And that's what fuels the IP. But the disconnect is that the value goes straight back to the company and none goes to the consumer who holds the collectibles unless, speculation arises, in which case those trading cards go up massively in value, which they did. And I think that's where the value lies, is additions of these things, where you should be focused on creating maybe like 30 characters who are going to feature in a show, create additions of them. Maybe it's like, this is going to be a super rare one because he's going to be the main protagonist in the show. We'll just have 100 editions of them versus, 1,000 of Jesse from Team Rocket, right? Who knows what that looks like? But I think that's the parallel I draw, where you can actually drive value to holders, because if they do get printed on, merch or something like that, or we're able to, CCO exists and we're able to build realms of like Jesse's background story, and that sells, and then value gets driven back to the DAO or something like that. That's where I think IP plays come in, and you're like, okay, it benefits the creator and it benefits the holders, right? Who are actually making their own creations within that character. I don't know what it looks like. It's one of those things that I think about more and more each day when I hear IP plays and brand plays, and I'm just like, what's the point? All you're doing is just giving the benefit to the creators.
Dude, that, like, you articulated that so well, man. And I guess that's another aspect. So I wasn't getting into Claynosaurus just because of the current state of Solana, but like, let's say conditions were good. That's probably the main thing that would have put me off from getting into Claynosaurus. It's just like, okay, they're building this, but like, why am I picking this thing up? It's like, once again, no offense against Bubble Goose, but it falls in the same category.
It does. I mean, it's one of the things that I recognize pretty quickly, the Bubble Goose is, and we'll talk, I'm hoping that, I think Slaticus is going to be down there. I'm hoping Carl's
he is.
We can kind of pick their brains on like, what's the play here? What are we doing? And why should we, like if I'm talking to my dad or something at Thanksgiving dinner, like why should he care about Bubble Goose? I don't know what it looks like. And we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But
even Carl might be down there.
I know. I just want to talk to him and be like, look, I know what your goal was. It was to crowdsource a project that you didn't have to answer to any studio, and you could just make it like a super crude TV show that, goes off your own ideas, which is great. I can't wait to watch it. I can't wait to see it.
I'm all about that.
And eventually they'll develop merch, which they sell, and then they get the benefit of that. And I just don't know what the benefit is of being a holder. So that's, I much rather just plays off the top of my head. Obviously, Tayo, you get benefit there for being a holder on the stuff they build over there. Famous Fox as another one. I think Famous Fox had been such a stable coin for such a long time, and now it's up to 36, and I'm like, good for them. Monkey Baby Business, another one that was a derivative that just, Finn just came in and just provided massive value to the holders. It's one of the most underrated builders in the ecosystem. And another one is Blocksmiths, right? Or Smiths now. I think those are like the 4 projects that I'm like, well, why would I play these IP brand plays where I could just buy these guys who are building stuff and I see the clear value of it? And I know that goes back to like kind of contradictory of what I said about Solana, where I wish they, everybody's like, when utility. It's more or less like when value coming back to me. Like that's all I'm asking.
Yeah, no, and that's a good question to ask, man. I don't think it's wrong. It's just understanding the ecosystem we're in. I think that the whole community aspect of like NFTs or whatever fits better in smaller collections than one-of-ones. We see this with Boogles. Like, why is Boogle so valuable? Because of the people that have them. It's like same thing with SMB. Also, a new up-and-comer. I think I mentioned a couple of times, Fellas. We're starting to see that increase significantly. One sombrero one was brought by Lieutenant Lollipop a couple weeks ago for 200. One sold yesterday for 99, I think.
I almost bought it for 108. Or at least put a bid on it. I don't know what it would have looked like, but that's I think that's also a great point too, Dora, is like, if I'm going for IP and brand plays, why not just buy thematic one-on-ones, Yep.
That I think that's a better play than picking up like these larger collections. Just because the people who are like spending money on these one-of-one pieces are within the collections are likely to have a tighter community that you can also benefit from than just getting into these larger branding plays.
Yeah, I
So,
I'm such a big, this is where I think these IP and brand plays will become exhaustive, and then people will
yeah,
realize, like, especially once we go through all the PFPs you can possibly make, all the IP brand plays you can possibly make or think of, and they become exhaustive. People are going to, and I remember DGen Poet tweeted this out, where it's going to be, once you see all these generative collections start falling by the wayside, people are going to turn to one-on-one art, and I think that's so true.
mhm,
I'm
mhm,
looking at all this like, man, why not just support? These are one-on-one creators that are making pennies on the dollar compared to these
yep,
generative collections and
yep,
still providing insane value.
mhm,
Proteon, for example,
yep,
gave us a copy of the bust, like a digital
yep,
bust of each one of our portraits of the aftermath. We got a token that we can use
yep,
possibly for a raffle here in the future
yep,
for another portrait. We also are getting physical hand drawn. It's
mhm,
it's cool. They have like, it's like a robotic arm that uses a pen in order to sketch out our own
yep,
portrait. And I'm sitting there like, man, I got this for 15 soul, 17 soul, or whatever it
yep,
was. Like, I'm getting so much value compared
mhm,
to what I would be getting trying to buy a Claynosaur, hoping that
yep,
they're featured in the animated short, or
yep,
buying a Bubble Goose and hope they
yep,
get featured in the show. That's
yep.
I think that's more
No,
the obvious play.
I'm right there with you, dog. And like, I'm also bullish on one of ones in NFT because I think that's one of the best utility for NFTs. It's like just ownership of digital art in itself, man. And getting behind these early stage notable artists, it's like that can pay dividends in the future if you're backing the right people. And which, if you're copy trading Bison, you are. So, yeah,
Yeah,
man, I'm right there with you.
yeah. I think one-on-ones right now, this is like the best time to jump into one-on-ones
Mhm.
because Soul is so cheap.
Yep.
It's much easier and palatable to buy a one-on-one when Soul is $13, and you can spend like 100 Soul on one, and it's only $1,300. And I say
Mhm.
only, but it's $1,300 compared to if it was 100 Soul and Soul was $100. Then
Yeah.
you're looking at 10 grand,
13.
right?
Oh
And
yeah.
that is way more expensive.
That's a little
So
steep.
yeah, I mean, it's just like, and one-on-ones for the most part, rarely, if you go with a good artist, they rarely sell below what they were
Yep.
bought for. They just
Yep.
hold their value so much better. I'm talking myself into buying more one-on-ones and I don't need to. I think my total spend now is at like 400 soul, and I'm like,
Dude, it's
um,
like I've been so successful in one-on-ones just because I copied you. It has been great.
yeah, I've been flipping editions late. Dude, DJ Poet has been cooking
Yeah.
lately. Cooking. Dude, I looked at my punks that I bought for like 0.69 soul, and they're now at like 5 soul a piece minimum. And I'm like, what? I bought like these as kind of a meme. I just really like, DJ Poet's art style. And he's just like, yeah, I feel like doing one series here and one series here and editions here. And dude, he's been blowing up. I love it. I'm so happy for him.
That new
And just showing.
typewriter you got's coming in clutch.
I know, man. That thing is getting its work in. So, yeah, I think, bottom line, moral of the story goes, I will trade these IP brand plays if there's hype and speculation around the marketplace. I'm not holding them. I don't care. I know there's a lot of people saying like, and I guess Adam saying it, and I do respect Adam, tremendously. But it's like this should be a 20 soul mint, and like we should be supporting them on Solana. And I'm like, yeah, we should, but it when a studio invests into a TV show, they expect a return. They expect to be able to run ads, or like they expect to have network rights or a percentage of merch going forward. Like, there is value going back to these studios. Like, I am fine having way less restrictions and letting the creators do what they want to do, but value needs to come back to me if I'm
Yeah.
investing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Dude, but
it's just point blank.
no, I agree with you, man. And like that's one thing about Adam that he does well. It's like even though he's like, oh, this stuff isn't going to have utility, that's bullcrap, Adam. Like you were given a utility. What utility did Voxel Monkeys have? You're getting 5 whitelists and 1 free mint for Iron Paw. That's the best utility you could ever get, and it'll probably pay for itself. What's utility you're getting for minting for a 4x4? Guess what? A whitelist for Iron Paw. So Adam's like, oh, I'm just here for the art, blah, blah, blah. He is, but at the same time, he knows how to provide value back to the holders in a unique way and not just pure revenue share.
Yeah. Yeah. And so dude, I could not agree more. Like, um, Yeah, I'm just so bullish on Adam. Adam's doing it right. And maybe I'm not giving Claynosaurus, because I don't want to throw Claynosaurus into the same boat as Bubble Goose right now. Because Bubble Goose, it's just like, bro, you have done like very little to return value back to holders. And I know they want to point to like there was contests, one person's getting flown out to the mixer and everything's paid for. And I'm like, that's sick, and I like that. I do like that. More of that is good, but just like, a little something for all your holders is all we got a staking portal where you had to touch the diamond. And I'm not even sure what that's for anymore. You know what I mean? Like I'm sitting there like, bro, what do we
I've
get?
touched the diamond.
Yeah.
Like what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. Whereas Claynosaurs, at least they have this leveling system, and it looks like that you could, have holder rewards for that and increase the value of your collectible by adding armor or armor swapping or whatever that looks like. Maybe they come out with a game eventually, and your NFT gets you access to things that other people don't have, or you get to use it as a character. Maybe I'm being too critical. Maybe we'll find out. Maybe we'll see what kind of rewards they have for holders. But for right now, I'm just sitting there like, I will trade it. I will get in and out. And then, once I have more information, maybe I'll revisit it. I do want exposure to them, but I will get in at a much lower price than what I sell it for.
Yeah, same here, Doug. Same here.
Yep. Yep. All right. Being a dead horse here, that is our take on IP plays, because I do think it is such an interesting topic. I know a lot of creators talk about IP plays, and I'm like, yeah, you're coming at it from a creator's perspective, not a collector's. And I think the beauty of Web3 is when we all have like alignment of incentives.
Yes.
It's a win-win-win. You get to cut out the middleman of the studios. You get to have more creative freedom. We get some sort of value driven back to us, and it could be merch. It could be some sort of digital collectible on top of it. Who knows? I just want value coming back to me. And I know it's really hard to do, like you can't just give me dollars back, right? Like then we're talking securities possibly. And like, what does that look like? Am I now an investor? Is this now, failing the Howey test or something like that? I understand that, but just give me something, dude.
I want to feel alive, man. Just give me. I'm not asking for much. I understand. I just give me a little something. Can I get some free merch? Like something.
Just something, bro. I just want some value coming back to me. But nonetheless, moving on. Let's have a little bit more fun, Dor. Let's talk about the Solana NFT ecosystem. Let's talk first. Do you think that Solana is going to be higher or lower by the time Christmas rolls around? So next holiday, every day is a holiday. We're going to talk about this holiday, though.
Yeah. I think it's going to be higher, man. I'm perma-optimist, dog. I thought 33 was the bottom. Clearly, I'm wrong. If I had a long open, I would have been liquidated. But fortunately, I didn't. But I would put a long in down. I'm like, oh, yeah, we can't get much lower than this. So I think we're going to be higher, man.
Yeah, I have this feeling we're going to get some sort of Santa rally. We'll probably go back up to, mid-teens. If we're lucky, we go back up to mid-20s. But, yeah, I know. It's so
That'd be
sad.
spicy, dog. I feel rich again.
I know. Yeah, it'll be interesting to find out. But I do think we'll see a little bit of sideways movement for a couple of weeks. And then, we could see a reach back up to like 16 or 25 or something like that. We'll see play out, but yeah, I'm hoping we get a little Santa rally. It's not like we can go much further down, right? So I think that's a pretty obvious play. Do think we're both going the over. I would bet, if I was a betting man, I would say Joe's probably in the same boat, that he thinks we go a little bit higher. I just don't see much more downside, dude. I know that sounds like I'm just battered and broken at this point. I don't see much downside now. Maybe we go back down to 11 or something like that. Everybody's been calling for single digits, and I just don't think it's going to happen, dude. I don't.
Dude, I didn't think this low would, like, the Black Swan event of FTX caused this to happen. So, like, Sol was holding at 33 for months, man, throughout, even, like, because there was a mini crash within the multiple crashes where everything was dropping, and Sol was, like, stable. It dropped down to, like, 28 and then rebounded back automatically to 33. So, I think without this Black Swan event, we would have been holding steady. So I think we'll rebound here pretty soon, man. Unless something like else happens, I don't foresee us getting much lower.
Yeah, I'm hopeful. We'll see what happens, but we're down 95% off our highs. Like, if we are following the ETH fractal where, we're looking at 2017, 2018 as our guidelines, this looks as close to a bottom as possible. I've bought, I've been DCAing in since we hit 13 point, what was my buy? It's like 13.8. And I bought a little bit more at 11 or so. Yeah, it was 11.79 on my chart. So I bought in a little bit more there. Maybe I'm just a masochist. Maybe this all goes to zero and we, GG's, we wrap it up. But I'm so bullish on Sol. I've been
Same
looking
here.
at other blockchains and I'm sitting there just like, really the only one that I think, is a different value prop is Matic. And that's just because of the partnerships they're making. And Shake made that meme the other day that was talking about, he's like, oh yeah, come to Matic. We have so many partnerships. And it was just like, the wide eye looking over like nervously, and it was showing FTX Arena, FTX, sponsoring all these celebrities and stuff like that. And I thought that was really funny, because it's kind of true, but also at the same time, like that's that's apples to oranges. Like a partnership on Matic is a little bit more incentive alignment than you getting sponsored by FTX because they threw like thousands or millions of dollars at you, depending on what kind of sponsorship you got. So, I don't know what it looks like. That's the only one that I'm really have my eye on. HBAR is cool. I think the tech's cool. It's not a blockchain. It's a hash graph, and that, just nerding out over there. Sui could be something to watch just with Move, but I think those are really the three that I'm like, other than that, I'm not really interested anywhere else. We do have Joe here. Joe, how you doing, man?
We're good,
Up,
man.
Joe?
We're good. Sorry, guys. Been, wheeling and dealing the past few days, trying to get some utilities done in the house. Not utility as in NFT utility that we all know, but actual utilities like, electric, water, that fun stuff. But yeah, I've been listening this whole time though, guys. Great show so far. You got very entertaining, articulate. I'm loving it.
Appreciate it as always, Joe. Quick question, Joe. You think Sol's going to be higher or lower by Christmas time?
Oh, you know what? If I had to take a long or a short for up from this time to Christmas, I would say long.
Yep. I told you would. It just feels like, this is, I'm following this ETH fractal so closely, and there's just so many similarities. And this was literally like, we dropped more dramatically, but we dropped like maybe a week or two after ETH did, like this same time horizon, everything dropped about a week or two after, with our capitulation candle, like that true fear candle, down from mid 30s to almost 13, $12 or whatever. That was the fear. That was everybody was selling off everything. And then we rallied from there. We started finding our range high. I think we're gonna, by Christmas or so, we'll get a little bit of a Santa rally. And come March, April, we'll start finding our range high, and then we'll see where we're gonna be at for the next year and a half. Because it will be pain for the next year. I see a lot of people saying it's gonna be shorter than 6 months or something. I think too many people calling it. Too many people are calling for single digit Sol. I think we're gonna just be stuck in like a range, whether it's from 11 to 37, 46, maybe even. But I think that's probably gonna be our range high, and then we'll just go back down, and we'll see it happen once more. I've been telling everybody you will get a second shot at these teens souls, if you want to wait. So
what, Bison, I couldn't agree more with that, man. And I think it's important to really zoom out, guys, and look for weekly structures to start to build before you go crazy, right? Like a weekly structure will build, right? A pennant, something will start to build on the macro. Then you can feel better going on to those lower time frames and finding entries. But Bison, I think, dude, there's a real good chance that capitulation candle on the weekly will be ate up, and we'll be back to $33 in the near future. And like you said, I think that range is going to hold true, right? I think the weekly on Solana right now is telling the story. If you look at this weekly candle now and where it wicked out from, if you do run a volume profile, you can see it bounced where it needed to, right? We kind of expected that, right? It's the last really bundle of buys before you get into that $9, then $5. So this is a good thing and a bad thing, right? Like we know that there was bias to sustain this. Now we just have to see what sell pressure is looking like. But obviously with BTC over 15.6, I feel a lot more comfortable for alts and DeFi. I really do. I think that slow range for BTC has people moving out back into DeFi. Just because it's a bear doesn't mean the cyclical nature of traders changes, right? It's the same thing. It's just at a more of a micro scale. So yeah, there's that, like Bison, like you said, man, like early in the show, there's gains to be made here, even though it's not bull. There's still plays to be made.
Yeah. The name of the game is stack and soul right now. I mean, it is. You want the most sure-handed way to make money or wealth over the next 2-3 years is going to be, and it's not even soul, right? Like you can transfer it into Bitcoin, you can transfer it into Ethereum, because I think those two plays will forever exist right now. I think they just have so much of a network effect that you like, even though I think, ETH technology is for dinosaurs, yeah, and no pun intended with Claynosaurus minting up here soon. I just think like it will always have people that have so much liquidity in that system, and it is such a reliable network for DeFi in the bigger sense, not microtransaction sense. I think we will take that throne eventually, especially with Fire Dancer coming up. That there's just so much to be bullish of with Sol that I see a network, I see a community, I see the potential, I see enough catalysts on the horizon that it's hard not to at least think, and maybe we don't hit all-time highs again. Who knows what it looks like? But I think we will see triple-digit Sol again. And if you're longing from here, you're looking at about a 7x. You know what I mean? Like that's
the risk to reward ratio right there. I mean, come on, right?
Who knows
We're
how long
closer
it
to bottom than top here, guys.
Yeah.
No, I was just about to say the same thing. I was talking to a Shake earlier today, and then because I've been DCAing at these levels like right after we had that capitulation down to 12 or something. So I've been DCAing, picking up 2 Sol every day for a while now, and I'm like, the risk reward is just too high. Like, let's say Sol does go to 0, okay, and I invested 5,000 from DCAing. Sure, but back to all-time highs, I think is 20x if I'm not mistaken. 270 was a Sol's all-time high. So you're telling me it's if I DCA in 5K, a 20x on a 5K, I'm sitting good. So the return is too solid. I'm like, nah, get out of here, man.
It's funny. I had a thought today, guys, right? And I was like, the undervalued assets and why paradigms of buying. And I was thinking to myself today, it's clear to us, right, to DCA in here to Solana, because we're either builders or users and consumers of the technology on the forefront, right? So we see it clear as day. Most people we know buy tokens and let them sit on an exchange for the hope of go up and sell. They're not utilizing the underlying technology base, right? So I think that's why we're so ahead of the game with Solana, because people are going to start to use Solana and still not know, but the interfaces are going to be there to let them do so, right? It's going to be a Web 2 experience for people to come and have gamified experiences on Solana, just because our transaction speed and everything that we have here. So I just thought, it's just funny to think about how it's easy for us to have conviction and someone that's a normal trader not to, right? They're buying Matic, they're buying all these other coins just for the process of price go up and not using the actual technology. Because if they did, they'd realize Polygon takes 2 hours to get your money moved anywhere. You still can't even see a NFT on MetaMask, right? It's these little things I think people don't realize because they're not utilizing the underlying technology like we are on a daily standpoint. But that gives us the upper edge, I think, to have the conviction.
I 100% agree. It's just it just feels like such a good risk reward ratio, and we get we're getting this for such a prolonged time compared to $80 ETH. It feels like we are getting this for a couple of weeks. We'll probably get it again. $120 ETH was the next range low back in the bear market. I gotta check my numbers again. Don't quote me on that, but you got close enough to 80 that you're like, man, we saw it already, range back up to 320, 400 during its bear range. Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we go to $40? And I think this is such a good RR play. Quick note for everybody that's watching. If you're listening on podcasts, I'm sorry for this, but we are opening up the room to bring people up. If you guys do want to join, come ask questions, come chill with us. We do have a few more fun questions just to kind of get everybody's sentiment check. This will be kind of a primer going into Christmas, and then Christmas we'll probably do a 2023 predictions talk about like what's going to happen for Solana, other NFT ecosystems too. While we are primarily a Solana channel, we certainly do get involved with ETH, Bitcoin, all that good stuff. We'll see what happens with it. We do got our favorite fan up on the stage with us. Curve, how you doing, man? What's
Hey,
going on, bro?
Hey, how you doing?
Oh,
what's up,
doing
dog?
good,
Good to have you
man.
here.
What's up, Coach?
I'm doing good. I was in that easy space earlier too, listening to like them talk about like the whole merch thing and IP. So it was kind of interesting to hear about it.
Yeah. Easy's always got good takes on it. I know Easy was talking about other blockchains too when I was over there. I only got to listen for like 10 minutes or so when this morning, but give us a little synopsis, Curve. What was he talking about?
I only caught like the back end because I was coaching. I was still trying to ride my bike home, but I was listening to like them talk about how a lot of people don't care for merch, which is something I think you guys have talked about before, like merch not being like a big player per se. But if it looks good and it doesn't seem like merch, then it's actually a good play out for, I guess, for the product. And I've seen some products like, I mean, no offense to even products that even Nekazuma, but it's like the huge Nekazuma logo and it looks like graffiti art. And I'm like, that could have been played off a little bit better to where it doesn't seem as NFT. But then you get something like Lily, where it just has the Lily and like the cursive. It doesn't feel like it feels like real streetwear.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
I do understand like the whole hating and loving merch thing, but I think it's just there's different avenues to like all these NFT things. I just think people are still trying to figure it the hell out.
Yeah, 100%.
Well said.
Yeah, and I know Door will say it too, but I'm gonna go ahead and front run them. That Cyber Sam merch is top notch. It doesn't really like just scream it in your face. It doesn't throw it in your face when you wear it. Like it does have the subtle Cyber Samurai. I love the shirt. Has the cross katanas and on the side, and it's really kind of like out of the way, but also like a good stylish point. Where I wear it out in public. My wife hates when I wear it out in public because it does say Cyber Samurai still, and they're like, God, they're gonna think you're such a nerd, which I am, and I wear it proudly. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's really good merch, man, and I think merch done well. Liberty Square did it well. Cyber Sam did it well. DGen 8.
I'll get on them next.
Yep. Yeah, DGen 8s and Lotus Gang just came out with theirs because it was the last thing on their roadmap, and some people got Lily Liz for that, so that was cool. But
I like that. But, my take on merch is this. I love merch, right? I love my D-Gods merch. I love, dude, I have so much Stone Date merch that I still have, right? Because I used to be a big player in them. And, like, I love merch. But don't make it the main value proposition of your project, right? And then get all these millions of dollars of funding and then expect people to be okay with lackluster DH Gate merch. Like, we've all been out here, bro. We know what you're doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? And like, that's okay. I'm good with that. If that's just on the back end, make it free or make it utility token based. So it's basically free, right? That's cool with me. But I don't like when merch is at the forefront. Like, you know what? The Lotus was really cool, right? You buy a hoodie for $60, which is like, 4 SOL, and you get the whitelist on top of that. Like, that's cool, an added utility, but that's not the basis of it. So that's my take on merch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you're right. It's like what bothers me is when people come out with merch and it's like lackluster. I'm a huge fan of Wells, but their shirts really were not that good. Like it felt like the material was bad on them. I like the designs and stuff on them, but it's like just the shirt was bad. Like, come on, guys, like it's not good. While then on the opposite end, you have DAA where things are subtle, like you were talking about, Curve. All they have is their logo right on the chest. It's like nobody's gonna know what that is. And like the material is solid. I wear my red hoodie all the time because I ain't got my Cyber Samurai one yet, but that's coming up. But the material on it is solid. Even the t-shirts. It's like I bought the hoodie because I got the t-shirt and I'm like, man, I'm just looking swollen this. Let me go ahead and buy the
hoodie. That's right. Big Door over here.
Let's go, Door. Them biceps, them traps looking nice. Them delts. I see you, kid. I see you, kid.
Yo, Curve, I got a question for you real quick because I want to ask the rest of the group, but I'll ask you first since you're our guest here. What is your favorite play under 10 SOL right now?
Favorite play under 10 SOL. I've actually just started buying into a little bit of dust just because of the last couple plays, and then I'm waiting for scrap to get down. But I haven't really bought, like, trying to buy too much. I'm waiting for Klano so I can see if it drops under 8 or 9, and then jump in and then get back out, and then just kind of hopping around. I mean, I bought a couple Pepes, but that's just Cyber Sam stuff. But other than that, I don't really see anything big under that 10 mark that's really worth looking into too crazy. So, I mean, I don't have any like crazy plays right now.
Dog, those are 2 amazing plays under 10, dog. Those are really good.
Sure, bro. I'll give you confluence too. I'm in a dust swing as well because I'm, I don't like giving X's, but let's say I'm looking between, 72 and 82 cents on the micro. Like that's, in the next couple of weeks. So that'll pay off 60% quick. And then macro, you're looking at a run back to that volume profile of 90 cents. So that's not a bad play at all, my brother. That's beautiful.
I love the dust play right now. I think
no one's
rotating.
No one's thinking about it. No one realizes it's right in your face, just like pilots were, just like scrap was. It's the same thing, it's right there, but it's not flashy yet.
Yeah. Yeah. I also like the call curve. I mean, like there's a few plays under 10 SOL that I like, but we'll get to those in a second. I'm gonna kick it over to Joe. What do you like under 10 SOL? What is your favorite play under 10 SOL right now?
Oh man. All right, favorite play under 10 SOL. That's a hard one. I'm also in a scrap and dust play already, so I wouldn't give you that. But I'll be honest with you, if I could get a Lotus Gang and a Lily for under 10 SOL, I'm all in. So my eyes are on that project because I do think, man, a Lotus is basically a blue chip OG at this point. Like you got to give it that. It's been there. It's been capitalized on. It's given back to its holders. So yeah, that's that's a play for me. If that can somehow get under 10 SOL, bids hit or something, I'll scoop a Lotus and a Lily, a combo 1-for-1 under 10 all day.
Okay, I like the call out. I think we could see that after a nice, everybody's gonna take Thanksgiving off, right? Like nobody's gonna be buying unless you go Black Friday shopping for NFTs for all your family, which you can. Maybe help out the ecosystem, y'all. Onboard new wallets, all that good stuff. I'll be giving out some NFTs this year, but. Yeah, let's kick it over to you, Dor. What's your favorite play under 10 SOL right now?
Man, I might be a little biased, but Cyber Samurai, dog.
I knew it was coming, bro. I knew it was coming.
I'm telling you, it's like out of anything, it's in this market. It's like I'm bullish on Cyber Samurai. Why? Because I'm freaking working on the damn project. So it's like I'm bullish on myself. And Shake and I have so much coming at the beginning of the year that I think a lot of people are going to be excited for. Can't speak too much about it. But yeah, man, they got a lot of things cooking. And then we also have the Cyber Samurai event coming up in Miami. So it's like, for some reason, if you're a straggler and you haven't are going to be in Miami, you haven't reached out to me, or you win the giveaway at the end of this episode, and then you're in Miami, hit me up so I can make sure you come out to the event, because we're going to be giving away hoodies. Bison's going to be there. Curve's going to be there. Easy's going to be there. Some Boogles are going to be there, and a whole bunch of other Cyber Samurai holders. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I agree. Dorian, tell the people how they can win this Cyber Samurai giveaway. How are we gonna determine this?
Yo, I was gonna ask you how we gonna give it away, man. I have no idea.
I'm just giving it away. I don't know how, but I'm giving it away.
Well, honestly, I'm probably just gonna pick Curve. See, he was the first one he has always.
There you go. Yeah, all right. We didn't even announce it, but Curve, congratulations.
I vote for Curve.
Look, I'll give Curve one, and then we can give somebody else one.
Oh my goodness, we're just giving away NFTs at this point. They're worth $30. Woo! Actually $40, $50 even. We're closing in on $50 per Sam.
You get a Sam. You get a Sam.
Yeah, I'm giving them out, dog.
That's a full day's. That's at least 2 meals. At least you can take yourself out. Maybe have a nice dinner. I could probably finagle a nice dinner for under $50 for 2 people. I don't know. Yeah. We'll see, but. We'll figure it out. Maybe go ahead and retweet the Twitter page, the Twitter video. If you guys are listening to this, retweet the Twitter video that is streaming this right now on my Twitter page at bisontrades. Go ahead and retweet that. We will wait an hour after we finish streaming, and then we'll look at who all retweeted it, and we'll go from there. That sound fair?
That sounds good to me, man. I'll still hook you up, Kirk. Just DM me your address because you're like always in the show and you came up on stage and we greatly appreciate it. So
number one supporter, Coach Curve. Him and Bolt. Bolt has been around for forever too. God bless. You guys literally been with me since I just like solo stream. So I appreciate you guys. But yeah, okay. My play under 10 soul. There's a lot. I do think the Cyber Samurai plus 6 Sush is under 10 soul, and I think that's a good way to get involved with the ecosystem. And then you still have soul left over to make the plays that we make in the dojo group chat. So, you know, that could be some, or maybe you buy Dust, because I do think that Dust call is good, Curve. I still think it's a good value right now. And then I am looking at Liberty Square. I think the Sinister Squirrel Syndicate, the squirrels itself, maybe not the hollow, but the squirrels. Everybody's taken away by the hollowed because, you know, who knows what they're going to come up with next for the hollowed. But squirrels, you just always buy OG collections. They're still present, still kicking, still doing stuff. They've been holding that high 8s, like low 9s floor for a while now. And they're just a few announcements away from you know, rocketing up to, you know, a mid chip somewhere in that 20s range. I think that would be a play for me. That I like between now and especially by the end of the year. I think they'll come out with something. So Squirrel's probably up there for me. I like Sam's call. I love the Lotus and Lily if it gets down to a 10 total, which I think it could. I think Joe's on something. It depends on how long they have between announcements right now, because everybody's getting, you know, it's that new thing on the block. Everybody wants to buy it. They're like, oh yeah, I want some Lily. I want some Lotus Gang. And then, you know, maybe a few days go by without announcements, especially into a holiday, and people are like, I'm done with you. You know, it's like Andy throwing away the toy.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely looking after that. Last question for you guys, then we'll wrap up the show. If there's going to be a project that supplants DeGods as the number one project on Solana, who is it? I'm going to go over to Curve first. Actually, we'll go Curve last. I want to go with Joe first, then Door, then Curve, and I'll give my final opinion.
Okay, so it's Utes. People forget they're two different entities. People, like I heard in space, like, well, you know, I want to be able to be like Harry Potter, and, you know, all the different sectors are different, but they're the same entity. I'm like, no, they're different entity, guys, different teams. They want to surpass each other, right? There is some overlapping team members, but the mission, the IP, the LLC, the all their legalities are different, right? Different entities. So my bet would be Utes. In the Solana ecosystem, it would be Utes. That's my answer.
Kind of a cop out, but I love it because that's probably the most obvious call, right? Dorian, what about you? Who do you think supplants them as number one?
Other than Cyber Samurai, I'm gonna have to say Tayo, man. It's like, I swear, if Tom is able to execute on Graphite and everything with pilots, I think that they have a shot of really rocketing to the top.
Fair. I like the Tayo call. That would probably be one of my calls. Let's go over to Curve. Curve, if you can pick one, what do you think?
I mean, I would probably think it'd either be Tayo or DAA, just because of like all the cupcake stuff that's been coming out, and then like I guess they're hiring a director of something production, a director of something for Cupcake. And so they're starting to hire a lot of people for Cupcake. So I think that just that little bit of a push there might be a big catalyst for DAA doing something, whether it's the apes or whatever it is. I think that they could probably be like the next group to move like that.
Okay. So we got 3 different answers. I love it because I like all those calls. I like the Tayo call. I'm probably going to say SMB will take back the crown. I do think that, you know, with all the deviation of, you know, will they, won't they go over to ETH or bridge to ETH? Will they, you know, just do airdrops over on ETH? And, you know, I think that like some people will consider that SMB going back to their roots, returning to Monk will be the play, and they'll regain their crown. They're actually like ripping right now. They're up at 225.
Crazy.
Yeah, they're crazy volume, and honestly, like I don't even remember the last time SMB was over 200. So them holding 225 and continuing to go up, really interesting to me. And I do think that, Monkey DAO is just going to be one of those that has it's just the OG DAO on Solana. You know what I mean? It is.
Think about if they actually said, okay, we're going to spice it up and put an actual roadmap in place, or an actual V3 Monk or something, bro, that it will propel them in. So already just generally as an OG stablecoin, they got this volume coming in and volatility, right? Because that's a safe place. But imagine them coming with a catalyst on top of that. So I think that value proposition to beat what you just really blew my mind. I'm like, that they have a really good chance to get past DeGods.
Yeah. I think if anybody succeeds doing it, I would put money on SMB, and Tayo would probably be my two. Utes, yes, I do think that the mystique and allure will probably capture some people, but I think ultimately DeGods will still, continue to hold the crown over them. Maybe in the short to midterm, right, Joe? Because we're both traders, at heart. We think more in the short to midterm when we're making these plays. So I would agree with that. But I'm gonna throw out kind of my dark horse and call Blocksmith. I think Blocksmith could be, and possibly even Famous Fox, dude. I think people underrate Famous Fox tremendously. I think Famous Fox, now that they have these crazy customizable. I don't know if you guys have seen some of the upgrades on Famous Fox. I saw Scooby's Fox the other day, and it looks so good. It looks so good. So I love it, man. I think it could be a play there. But I think Blocksmith, the reason being is because, Anatoly and Raj have been on record saying they're some of the best builders in the space. I don't think they've gotten their stripes or their stars yet. I think eventually they will. They built out a pretty successful launch pad with Bifrost. We've seen 3 pretty prominent plays come in with Fruits was short-lived because what was the value prop of Fruits? What, you're going to get your own juice box?
Juice bar, come on, best utility ever, juice bar.
I love the ambition. At least they're trying something different, I guess. But then Sentries, I still think Sentries low-key is kind of a cool play to me. And then Sharkify. Sharky is the best lending platform, in my opinion, hands down. So I do think that Smiths could cook up something. I think they're probably one of the best multiple plays, but
that's a good Bison. They're waiting to the new year. I was actually in a spaces with him, with Alex, Cryptonaut, Frank, and somebody else, and they said they're basically waiting till the new year, but they're working on big innovative stuff, and they'll start pumping marketing into the new year. So that's another play, like you said. Wait for that trickle down, buy the low, you know what I'm saying, when things seem to be really quiet, and then wait for that pop. And I think that's another great play. That's really good. Didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I mean, those are probably the most obvious. Smiths and Famous Fox would be the dark horse, but Famous Fox has been around for ages now. They're finally getting some trait deviation. To me, they seem like doodles, but actually build something. Their art kind of reminds me of doodles, but they actually do something for the ecosystem rather than make you the consumer. But they got
a new tool that one of their guys just made up for royalty paying, and Tayo and these guys are going to start utilizing that. And then holding so many foxes, it kind of makes it free for them. And then so you have this kind of buying pressure from this avenue as well. I think it's a tool that a lot of people are going to use to be like, oh, okay, did you pay royalties? And if not, here you go. Check your wallet in, send it to this, and you're good to go. And your Discord role is good to go, and everything's righteous. So that's another tool to look out that FFS building, and I think implementing already, if I'm not mistaken, which is I think going to be a value builder.
Yep, those are my plays. I know I kind of copped out too, and I didn't pick one. If I had to put money on one, it'd probably be SMB. That would be my safest bet. Yeah. But those are the dark horses I wanted to introduce to everybody. That if they aren't on your radar, you probably should put them on there. I do believe that we're in a bear market. The builders will thrive here, and those are some of the best builders between Tayo, Famous Fox, Blocksmith, and then even Monkey Baby Business, dude. They're ripping right now. They're also ripping. Yeah, that is another one that is cooking right now. So
we had somebody dropping the Cyber Samurai chat about Monkey Baby Business a while ago. He's a in Cyber Samurai and there, and Monkey Baby Business absolutely taken off.
Who was it? B-Lou? Was it Lou?
Yeah, I think it was B-Lou. Yeah.
Yep. Good people over there, man. That's a good community. So, guys, want to wrap it up. Curve, thank you so much for coming out.
Yeah, man. Having me on here.
Yeah, of course, man. Well, I always love talking to listeners, especially an avid one like you. I'm pretty sure you've like never missed a show, and if you have, like you always listen to the podcast and come with questions. So I appreciate you, being a great supporter. We appreciate it tremendously.
Yeah.
The world could use more curves. So yeah.
Thank you guys for letting me on the show. It was great being on here, finally getting involved.
That's right.
Can't wait to see
I'm
you
going to
guys.
make a short of you, man. Your take on the merch. I'll get that posted probably tomorrow. We'll see. It'll be
It's
soon.
Thanksgiving tomorrow, bro. Did take the day off. You can get on the weekend or something like that.
Enjoy you guys' Thanksgiving. It's great to be up here. I got to get out of here, though.
Yeah.
All right.
We'll see you. We'll
Great
see you in
having you on,
Miami,
man.
bro.
Coach, legend, be safe, homie.
Guys, pleasure as always. Great show. I enjoyed it. Shake said he's listening to RareFUD in the shower. Good for you, Shake. That might be a little sus, but I'm here for it. I appreciate you having commitment, bro. Commitment. Let's go ahead and sign off. Wrap it up for the day. Any other alpha you want to give going into the weekend or anything like that? I'm gonna let you guys have final statements. We'll go with Dor first, then Joe, and then we'll go ahead and wrap up the show.
Best alpha I can get is touch grass. I swear that's probably the best alpha you're ever going to get on this show.
Yep. Go watch a little World Cup.
Yep.
Hang out with family. Touch some grass. Watch some football tomorrow and Saturday and all that good stuff. It's rivalry weekend. We're playing Tech. We're gonna absolutely smash them. Can't wait. Joe, what you got for us?
All right. So my one piece of alpha, guys, if you're trading crypto or coins, BTC 16.5 will be a triple top if it's rejected again on the 4 hour, 6 hour. So just watch that. Just realize that. And if you're in any trades, stop losses to break even or in profit. And there's probably going to be some volatility coming into the holidays, guys. So just quick heads up.
Yep. I would agree with that. I'd really love us to get back over 17.5 personally, but
yes.
that would definitely
that would for me. I'm actually long on a lot of alts, and if we hit 17.5, I'll take profits there on BTC. Yeah, and I'll feel way more comfortable over 16.5. If not, I'm keeping those stop losses very tight.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with it, but I would back Dorian, go touch grass, go hang out with family. This stuff will still be around here. We can't go much further down, so don't worry about anything. Unless you're an avid trader like myself or Joe, in which case we're going to be panicking at the Thanksgiving table with TradingView on our phone saying, oh shit, I should not have been long here, and cutting our losses, hopefully have stop losses in place. But that about does it for us on this show. We hope you have a great Thanksgiving if you're in the States. If not, go find a turkey, come join us at the Thanksgiving table. It's just a great holiday to support one another and show thanks. I'm thankful for you guys.
Thankful for you too, Doug.
Yep.
And you as well, Joe.
Thankful for all the supporters out there. Like Curve coming up on the stage. We appreciate it. We may open up the stage a little bit more here in the future and just get some takes. But that about does it for us on this show. Thank you guys so much for watching another episode of RareFUD Radio, our Thanksgiving special, our 30th episode. We appreciate all of you guys. And please make sure you retweet the tweet that has the stream in it. However you want to do it. If it's just a regular retweet, quote tweet it, whatever you want to do. We will make sure that we give out that Cyber Samurai as well. And go enjoy your holidays. I thank every single one of you and have a great rest of your day.